Yeah, good morning. This is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please press the like button and subscribe. Yeah, just talking about escapees yesterday with a few people that I did. Yeah, how disgusting it is. Yeah. Um, Listen, when I was in all these big prisons like Wandsworth, the Scrubs, Brixton, the Ville, not so much the Ville. Well, yeah, the Ville, Winchester, all them big prisons. Yeah. They hold escapees, yeah, and escapees wear a green boiler suit, and and a yellow stripe down the side and at the back, yeah. And it's not only that; it's where it's really degrading, yeah. That at night time they take everything out your cell, yeah, everything, all your, I mean, clothes wise, yeah. They take your stuff out and put it on a chair, all your clothes, everything, pants, everything. They put it on a chair, and then you go in there and they turn this red light on you. Listen to me, let me tell you something. This red light is degrading because once that red light's on, all night long it's on, 24/7, yeah? Oh, no, sorry, not 24/7. It's on all the time, yeah? Until the morning. I think they turn it off about 8 o'clock in the morning. Turn it off about 8 o'clock in the morning. They turn it on about, what, 7, half 7 at night. You try sleeping with a red light on. It's, I mean, some of them people on patches, it's called patches, are there maybe for 6 months, 3 months. I think it's every month they get looked at. Uh, I mean, look at Bronson, Charles Bronson. I mean, same with him. I mean, he was trying to escape so many times, it's unbelievable. Out of his cell, tying people up, this, that, and the other. They put them on escapee, put them on patches. The green and yellow. How many times has he been on it? You know what I mean? And you talk to people that have been on that, and it's got to do their brains in, mate. It can't do them no good. I mean, to try and sleep with a red light, I mean, you just can't do it. It's unbelievable I mean, listen. I was in one of them cells once in Wandsworth. There was they just had no room. They put me in one of them cells, and this screw at night time, right? Just come along, click, and flick the light, yeah? I went crazy, mate. I was trying to sleep, I couldn't sleep. I was banging the door like a lunatic. All of a sudden, he come along, so I apologise and turn the light off, yeah? But honestly, that is the worst experience you could ever have, being on patches, is that light at night time. I mean, other than that, you get everything. Everything that comes, you get it. You get it first, like visits. They don't muck about your visits. You're there, yeah. Everything you get first of all, yeah. But the only thing, they walk around with a book, and everywhere you go, there's two screws here, maybe, or maybe no, it's usually one as it happens, because it's usually A cat. If you're an A category prisoner, they usually have two prison officers walking about with a book. I'm not quite sure if patches have a book. I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure people that are watching this will tell me if if you're on patches, do you have a book everywhere you go? They're trying a book. I'm not quite sure, but I know category A's do. Maybe double A cats do. But there again, I don't know. I mean, when I was in Albany, when the first time I went to Albany was, I think, about 74, 73, 74. Everybody says then, oh, what a nice dangerous prison in England. Listen, Albany was a great prison, yeah. Albany was a good prison when I was there. Uh, Listen, you have dangerous prisons in every prison. Do you know what I mean? But when people say, "Oh, come to Albany," Albany was the most dangerous prison. No way. I was there for what, 2 or 3 years? No way. I mean, I did get really, really obliged in Albany prison, but that's to be expected. If you start doing things that you shouldn't do, you're gonna get obliged. You know what I mean? You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get shipped out, and then you're gonna go all around the circuits, yeah. And that's what happens. So it's one of the things that goes on in prison. But Albany, maybe, I mean, if you're just a normal no one, like a little boy, goes in prison, and Albany may be fighting the life out of you because you're just a little boy, innit? And you're no one, and you keep a low profile, but then you become one of those people in prisons that run around, just maybe collecting cups of tea, biscuits, cakes for your people you're looking after. I mean, I see loads of people in there, in Albany running around joeing for people that have got plenty. Usually, it's you people who've got plenty of money. They look after them, send them in 20 quid to their canteen, so they can buy their canteen, or they do other favours for them and get their canteens and all that way. But there's quite a few. There's a couple on my podcast that do them sort of things that are on YouTube. A couple of guys that I've been told that actually do that. I actually did do that. Run around goafing for people in prisons. But that's one of it. Listen, you've got to survive, mate. You've got to survive. Whether or not they sleep about is another thing. But if you've got to survive, they run around making cups of tea and toast and all that, and changing their beds, making their beds, and all that sort of thing. It goes on. It goes on in prison. It goes on. But Albany was one of the best prisons I've ever been to. The best prison was Chelmsford, but Albany, when I went there in 1974, was a good prison, mate. Was a good prison. They give you everything you wanted. The cells were tiny, but they were all right. Once you got into the people in there, I mean, everybody had a record player. I mean, everybody used to channel the wall. And go into the light, the mains, and put two little holes in the wall, and they used to put their mains in it. Yeah, their main from their battery. Take the battery out, take the wire from the battery, put it into the thing. Yeah, and everybody used to have it. And then they put a picture over it. But all the screws knew that everybody had it. But if the screws wanted to be funny, they come into some cells and just and take it out. Then you get nicked, and they fill a hole in, and the hole goes on again. Then you chase the wall again, and get someone in who does the electrics. It's the same. Listen, prison's about earning. Prison is about survival, and the people that do all that get paid. Maybe get an ounce, 2 ounces for channeling the wall, doing the electrics, putting the electrics in, and that, it goes on 24/7. I mean, then you got people that come in your cell, painting your cell. It happens, mate. It's like a business in there. Prison is like a business, really. It's a smaller version of out here, about this out here. You got the chiefs, your governors, and all that outside. Here, you got the same thing. Prime ministers and all that sort of police, the chiefs, aren't they? Chiefs are like screws. Police are like screws. They're the ones that do all the damage, and they do, believe me, I mean, I've met some arsehole screws in there, in prison, but there again, I met some good screws in prison, And Albany, there was, do you know what, it gets some funny, I mean, in Albany, there was, you had, I can't remember now, but I think Alan Dixon, I'm not quite sure, you have to check me up on that one, but I think Alan Dixon was in Albany. I'm sure he was in Albany with us. There was a few funny people in Albany. What's the guy's name? I can't think of his name, but they used to muck about on the hot plate with screws and all that, going nick their hats. And I mean, Albany was a good prison, mate. For anybody to say that Albany was a prison that he was petrified of, that it was one of the worst prisons in England, it was a violent prison. They was just babies, Because I've been to Albany twice. Twice I've been to Albany. First time in 74, and then next time, I shouldn't have really gone back to Albany, but I did. I think it was 80 times. Yeah, Albany was all right, mate. I didn't mind Albany at all. Good prison. I liked it, mate. And big field, good games. I mean, you could use, the gym was fantastic. The kitchen, I was always in the kitchen. Always got a job in the kitchen. The wings were just nice. The wings were good. Everybody, like you had Spurs, you had one there, one at the side. You had what was it, 4, 8, 12. You had 12 cells to each Spurs, yeah? I think it was 12 or maybe more, yeah, but I think it was 12 cells each spur. I was in C wing, C spur, middle, on the ones down the end on the right hand side. And yeah, I loved it, mate. I loved, first of all, I was downstairs. Then I moved upstairs. Yeah, I liked Albany, mate. Albany's a good prison. Anybody say it is another. Come on, you don't know what you're talking about, mate. You know that. You ain't got a clue. You know what I mean? You ain't got a clue. Albany was a good prison, believe. Albany was the best prison was Chelmsford Prison, mate. Chelmsford Prison was the best prison I've ever been to. The worst prison I've ever been to was Winchester and Blunderston. Blunderston was full of 43s, sex offenders. I couldn't believe it. I mean, not obviously so, not all the wing. Albany, it changed. Albany, I'm not quite sure when it changed. Albany, the 90s maybe. It changed that there was a lot more sex offenders in Albany. I was told that maybe it was maybe D wing, C or D was Albany convicts, but the rest of the prison was 43s. I've been told a few people went to Albany in the 90s, and it was all 43s. They said the prison had changed. It was a dump. It was a complete nothing. Maybe the guy's talking about then. But as far as a violent place is concerned, nah. You have plenty of nasty people in there. Plenty of, bad people in there. People that run England, that run London was in there when I was there. Yeah, but I didn't mind you. Like I was a big lump, training all the time. Could have a fight. I was like an ex-professional fighter, really. You know what I mean? And I could have a fight. I could have a row, and that's about when you go in prison. You got to be able to look after yourself. And once people see you can do that, and then you have no problems in prison. No problems at all. I've never had a problem really. Only I've caused my own problems, and I've been put on a bad 1074, and and I nearly got murdered. I nearly got killed in a way, but that's life. That's part of the system. You break the system, mate, and they teach you a lesson. And you play the game, and you get what you want, and get out when you want. But if you don't play the system, mate, you can be there forever. Look at Charles Bronson. He's there forever. I think he got 7 years, didn't he? Before that, I think he got 7 years for I don't know, Robbie. He's been ever since. Frankie Fraser, I think he got 9 or 7, and he was in there for forever. For such a long time. So you can't beat that system. The system's there to beat you. You're just a person. You're just a number. You're nobody. They can pull that key out of that door, mate, and just forget about you. It's that easy. They ain't got. What it takes forever. It takes forever to talk to an MP anyway. It takes forever for an MP to bring it up or whatever. Listen, you get no chance in prison, mate. No chance. Solicitors come and see you. They're after earning money. They ain't really bothered. Probation, they try to do what they can do, but their hands are tied, and they go in there and you think, I'm not ever going to get out of here, mate. I've had it, mate. I had it where I tried to beat the system, and I didn't. They beat me. When I say they beat me, they didn't beat me as such because I had come out the other end alive, yeah. A lot of people have come out the other end like cabbages and just can't cope. I come out strong because I've always been a strong man. I've always trained. The only thing is my mind is not. I'm not a person that can read. I wasn't a very good reader. I wasn't a very good writer. I could work things out in my head. Yeah, a lot of things I could work things out in my head, but on paper, even talking wise, I was not all that good. Because people must see sometimes I get confused with dates and times and all that. Because come on, I was away. Yeah, there's not many people on the podcast now. I said the other day, only Cummins, yeah? Only Cummins that's been on this podcast, that's been in prison the days I was in prison. Most of them have been in the 80s and the 90s. They've not been in the 60s. I was in prison in the 60s. in my YP, in my Borsal in the 60s, in Ashford Remand in the 60s. Ashford Remand in the 60s was like hell. That was, I think, yeah, definitely, yeah. Ashford Remand prison was the worst prison for kids, yeah. The worst place I've ever been to. Ashford Remand, in there, you had horsehair mattresses, horsehair pillows. So when you got, so when you went in that cell, who was ever in that cell before you left the way he lays in the horsehair, and it was that shape, yeah. So you got to knock it about and all that, and it's all tied up and it's all knotted up. And the cells, the tables were solid wood, the chairs were solid wood. Everything in there was like little windows, crazy. I mean, that was prison, mate. And prison, I should think that Ashford Remand was the worst place you could ever go to. I'm on about the 60s. There ain't many on this YouTube, right? Being in Ashford Remand prison in the 60s. Please, tell me. There ain't many in there being in prison in the 70s. Tell me. Come on here and tell me how many people have been in prison on the 70s on YouTube. They talk about 90s. Oh yeah, it was really rough. You ain't got a clue. You ain't got a clue. You know, you ain't got a clue what prison was about in the 70s and 60s. They don't know. When they come on this on YouTube and start talking to me about this and that and phone cards and this, mate, it's a joke. They don't know what prison's about. They ain't got a clue what prison's about. The only thing I was a bit surprised about when I went to Albany's in the 70s, you could get a record player, battery operated record player. Philips, Pi, Sony. That was about the main ones you could get, yeah. And the people that was people in prison, you had two radios, yeah. You had two real good radios. If anybody had them, there was a proper person. You had the Philips Rambler, and you had the Hacker, the big Hacker. Anybody had the Hacker, they was the business. You went in their cell, they had a big Hacker, boom, like really good music. You know what I mean? But like everything, at certain times, in my times, you could only turn it on at certain times, and you had to turn it off at certain times. So come on, this person who keeps telling me about how bad prisons are, especially about when he talks about Albany. Albany was only maybe bad when you had the paedophiles there and the sex offenders, and you couldn't cope. You know, I suppose when they get together, you know, you've got no chance. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, I'm just speaking out loud. But yeah, I mean, I loved Albany in the 70s. Albany in the 70s is a good nick, mate. Albany, Chelmsford in the 70s. I got there in 77, end of 76, 77. Don't forget I've been on a big laydown. But when I got to Chelmsford Prison, listen, Chelmsford Prison was the best prison in England. I'm telling you, Chelmsford Prison was the best prison in England. You could get anything behind a gun in Chelmsford Prison. You could get anything in Chelmsford Prison. Scotch, Bacardi, gin, you get anything you want, mate. Tobacco, cigarettes, anything. People in Chelmsford Prison used to have iron bars in their cell from the gym. Weight lifting bars in the gym. From the gym in their cells. Everybody had one. I had weights in my cell. Not weights. I had a cog, two cogs, and a piece of wood going through the middle as a handle that Tony Lawrence gave me. How many people have weights in their cell? There was a few people who had weights from the gym in their cell. Yeah. There was, Ronnie Bender had everything you could possibly want in a cell. You know, his cell was the business, it was nice. The old man Tibbsy, same thing. Young Jimmy, same thing. I mean, there was some. What I loved about Chelmsford Prison, yeah, Chelmsford Prison was one of them places you could walk about in Chelmsford Prison, and everybody, everybody in in Chelmsford in the wing I was on was all different. They weren't, when I say different, they was all doing different things, like painting, doing matches, doing the matches, making things out of matches, like singing, playing music, like you trumpets. Yeah. I'm telling you, mate, it was mad in there. You know what I mean? You had fantastic footballers. You had footballers in there, mate, who could play for any team. And you had fantastic rugby players. I was in a rugby team. I was a good rugby player, mate. I mean, when we played Wasps, Saracens, London Irish, and all them sort of places, maybe we played the second team or even the third teams. But I remember quite a few times that they've got hold of me and said, "Look, when you come out of prison, mate, come and look us up." You know, and Wasps. I mean, when they came in Wasps, they said to me, "Where'd you come from?" I said, "Acton." And at that time, Wasps had their training ground in Acton, Gunsbury Lane, in Actonians in Actonians, and they said to me, "Look, when you come out, look us up." But before, and they didn't. I was a good player, mate. I was a good rugby player, excellent prop, excellent second row. I was a good play, mate. I was good, very powerful, big, massive legs. Could just give it them, mate. I didn't muck about. When they give me that ball, if I was 10 yards from the line, they couldn't stop me. They couldn't. If I had a run up, mate, they was in trouble. They couldn't stop me. I would just crash through them. I was just powerful. Peter Lyons, my mate Peter Lyons, exactly the same. Peter Lyons, what was he? 19 stone. Biggest legs I've ever seen the guy in, mate. And he never trained. He never done the gym. He just had big, powerful legs, mate. And when he got in that gym, Peter, not sorry, when he got on that rugby field, he was impressive, mate. He looked the business, you know what I mean? He was, I think Peter Lyons was what? I think he was the same as me, prop or second row. We was always together, me and him, and any trouble, we was together. I remember one time, because he was in the coppers in the kitchen, I was a baker, and I was still always go up to get some milk. And he used to sell his milk, didn't he? Sell his milk for tobacco, and I'd go, no, yeah. And anyway, I nicked his milk from behind the coppers, and I drank it, and put the cup back empty. He went mad. He went crazy. I was grassed up, so this is me. When I got up the wing, he was across from me, across the cell from me, next door to Mickey Green. He shouted out, "You," and he called it all sorts of names. And I said, "Yeah." Anyway, he came over with a great big knife, Peter Lyons. He didn't kill the monkeys, mate. He had a proper knife all sharpened up from the shop. He came over and I picked my weight up. What good's a weight, you know what I mean? Throw a weight at him, he's got a knife. But we was right pals, so it didn't come to nothing, but he could have killed me. He could have killed me, Peter. There was some guys in Chelmsford prison that were very, very dangerous. I mean, it goes to see how dangerous it was when one of the guys, both Steves, I think they're both Steves, I could be wrong, one went on home leave. They'd been making these matchsticks and other thing, matchstick boxes and all sorts of matchstick stuff. And one come back, he was supposed to send money in, he didn't, and he killed, and one got killed. Hit across the other iron bar, with a weightlifting bar. But as I say, a lot of them in there had weightlifting bars. The gym, the gym must have been, why is all these weightlifting bars going? But very rarely got a spin. He didn't get spins in Chelmsford. Everybody was like, the screws were fantastic screws, mate. They didn't cause no problems. All they wanted to do was get in there, do their day's work, and get out alive. You know what I mean? And I suppose in a way, that's the way to do it, isn't it? That's the way to do what you're going to do if you're in prison. If you work in prison, all you got to do is get out of there. Anyway, there's a big, big story. I can keep going on about prisoners and bits and pieces, but I've got to have a workout. I'm going to have a workout now. Shortly I'll be putting on a video of my workout. Do you know, I got lazy the weekend. I didn't do it Saturday. I didn't do it Sunday. I was supposed to do the bike. I didn't do it. The weather's really getting warm now. And you know, so what I do, I just open all the windows, all the doors. I've got to start getting out of where I live. I've got to start walking more so, getting to the village, getting a train, and getting into London and meeting more people, you know, rather than staying in and doing nothing, yeah? So anyway, this is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please press the like button and subscribe, and good morning, yeah?